Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of In Conversation, and this is Hrijoy Das Kanungo. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have none other than the newly appointed Chancellor of Assam University and former Chief of Air Staff, Shri Arup Raha sir. Shri Arup Raha sir was the 21st Indian Air Chief, and he is also a very decorated Indian Air Force officer. Sir, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Hrijoy.
Sir, first of all, I would like to ask you a very basic question. It has been 48 hours you were in Assam University. You have interacted with the scholars, students, teaching and non-teaching staff. What was your initial reaction when you came to Assam University?
Well, first of all, I am very honored that I have been appointed as the Chancellor of Assam University, Silchar. So it was quite a surprise for me. And after having come here, after having interacted with the Vice Chancellor, Professor Pant, who is a very highly professional person in the domain of education, especially higher education. And I had the opportunity to interact with almost everybody, all the deans, faculty heads, the entire fraternity of teaching staff, non-teaching staff, as well as students and scholars. And I realized that Assam University is a gem of a university. Not that I am talking highly because I have become the Chancellor, but truly I am talking from my heart that I realized that we have a lot of talent. Talented people who are in the department of imparting education, knowledge to our youth, boys and girls, in the formative years. That kind of knowledge that they are imparting will definitely form a very good, I would say, background or platform from where they can launch off their careers, professional careers. So I am extremely happy with whatever I have seen in terms of human resources, both teaching faculties as also the students who are here. And secondly, now I am getting to see the infrastructure, the projects that is being nurtured by the university under the able leadership of Professor Pant, the Vice Chancellor, as also the faculties, the activities that you are undertaking in various departments, the number of avenues, professional avenues in which we can train our young people of the region, especially to succeed in professional careers and serve themselves, their families, and the society and the nation. And more importantly, this university is actually in the northeastern region, which has been neglected over a period of time. And I think it is coming into focus, and this university, Assam University, will be one of the instruments of highlighting, of focusing on the talent that is there in northeast and this region especially, and obviously it will help in integration of the northeast with the rest of India, because we have a lot of talented people here.
Definitely. Sir.
So they are going to be good professionals and work all over the country, including abroad.
So, sir, what do you think will be your biggest challenge and the biggest opportunity that you will have as a Chancellor of this university?
When I was informed about this appointment, first thing I asked them, what is the job of the Chancellor? I have no idea. I am a serviceman, I am an air warrior. So if you tell me to fight, that's a different thing. But if you are going to tell me to lead an educational institution as the head, I have no idea. So no, sir, it's a very ceremonial post. You will have only very few occasions to meet and greet people and attend certain functions, etc. So let me find out for myself. So I requested Professor Pant, the Vice Chancellor, to let me be here as soon as possible, and he promptly replied and organized this visit. So, as you mentioned, that what was my reaction and what am I expecting to do? Frankly speaking, with such leadership that is there in the university as of now, and highly qualified, motivated, dedicated, professors and deans and teaching staff, I think this job of mine will be no challenge, because I don't think I can contribute anything more than what they are doing already. But yes, from my experience of having run the Indian Air Force for 3 years plus, and having been the top general of the Indian Armed Forces for 2.5 years, whatever experience I have, I'll be always free and frank to give them certain suggestions, recommendations, which if they implement it, I'll be very glad.
Sir, you have mentioned about discipline in an educational institute,
Right.
and you were an army man, you were an armed force
Yeah,
personnel.
yeah.
So, are you planning to bring any military grade discipline in this university?
So military type of discipline is okay for the military. It may not be okay for our young generation, who want a lot of freedom. They don't want to be constrained by the normal sense of discipline. But even the discipline that we have in the armed forces is a type which is required because of its role. When you go to war, you are not going to, you are going to give orders, and those orders have to be obeyed. If you don't obey the orders, you lose the conflict, you lose the war, you lose the battle.
So, sir, what actually inspired you to be on the armed forces?
Actually, I must tell you, I had a lot of people from my family who had joined Sainik School, RIMC,
Yeah.
Rashtriya Indian Military College, and they're doing exceptionally well. So I did get motivated from that to be part of the armed forces. My father was a doctor, and during the Second World War, he volunteered to serve the Indian Army as a volunteer, not
Yeah.
as an officer, but as a doctor in the Burma front. The Burma front that time in mid-40s, 1940s, goes on. So he went there at the end of the war, which ended in about a year and a half's time. He came back and he said that he wanted one of his children, we have 5 brothers, 1 sister, to join the armed forces as an officer. So I took up that mantle on myself, and I joined Sainik School Purulia, and then joined NDA, and thereafter I joined the Air Force. Why did I join the Air Force? Mainly because that time in the late 1960s, there was a lot of sort of competition between the US and the USSR, Soviet Union, about space flights, conquering space. So in 69, was it? I think the first landing on the moon was done by Apollo 11, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So that actually had played on our minds, and many of my friends, we all sat together before we appeared for the NDA examination after doing our 10th standard, that we all will join the Air Force so that we can become astronauts or cosmonauts. So, but I did have a chance, but not truly, because my seniors, who are about 3 to 5 years senior to me, they got a chance because they had the experience to compete to become an astronaut. And Rakesh Sharma,
Yeah.
squadron leader,
Yeah.
he's about 5 years senior to me. So he got selected to be. So I missed the opportunity.
Okay.
But now maybe I can volunteer for it. Now the Indian spacecraft is going into space.
Yeah, so you spoke about space domination. Right now,
Yes.
India is in a spot where India is dominating the space. So how do you see the success of Chandrayaan 3?
It's a great event and great achievement, because not many countries have been able to land on the other side of the moon. They call it the
South Pole.
frozen pole, which you don't get to see. And communications through any means to this vehicle which landed on the moon is very difficult, because there is no direct communication. And we don't have communication centers all across the world. Okay, if you have it on the other side of the globe, maybe they would be able to relay to the vehicle that was there, the lander as well as the rover. So it's very difficult. And the technologies that you require, the precision that you require in terms of controlling the movement of this space vehicle, to make it land, do a smooth, soft landing, is an outstanding achievement to my mind. And very soon, I think, Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, will map a lot of space, as a space objectives that we have set ourselves to. So I'm very hopeful that ISRO, which is one of the top 4 or 5 nations in space ventures, in space domain, will continue to succeed because we have the talent and now we have the money also. And I think we have reached a position from where we can only really leapfrog into something which others will not be able to catch up with.
So another question I think our viewers would love to know, that have you ever been in a dogfight?
You see, as a fighter pilot,
Yeah.
dogfight is everyday, exercise for us. And dogfight not only 1 versus 1, 1 against 1, 2 against 1 against 2, 2 against 2, large formation versus 2, 3, 4, 5 aircraft. So these are opportunities we always look forward to, and we crave to be part of such dogfights. So not the real ones. Real ones would be more complicated, more interesting, because we will have missiles flying, guns being fired. But in day-to-day, every day, we practice missions where dogfight is involved, and you have to hone our skills that way. So every day we used to fly that way, and it used to be very interesting. I was on the staff, directing staff, instructor in one of the combat schools of the Indian Air Force for Tactics and Air Combat Development Establishment, TACDE. So there, the job of that establishment was to train qualified pilots to become combat leaders. So that they could go and teach others also about the tactics to be followed during a mission, in various types of formations, as an attacker or as a defender. So instructing those missions, as a directing staff was very, very interesting. So we had to actually master it and know each and everything that could happen in a combat situation, all contingencies. So we really enjoy this, and a lot of adrenaline is pumped into your system when you start fighting. Okay, so that is always.
So we have a very volatile neighborhood, and if we are in a vulnerable situation when we are we are getting aggression from the western and eastern front at the same time, what will be the end state for Indian Air Force?
You see, this morning only I was speaking to the people that regarding other threats that we have and the environment that India exists in terms of LC, line of control, and line of actual control, LSC. Both these borders are live. Both the adversaries are extremely, determined, I would say, very highly determined to put India down and India not to rise. So, and they're all nuclear powers, and this conflict will go on because the borders have not been resolved. It's been handed over to us by our foreign rulers, and it will not get resolved so quickly. Skirmishes are taking place quite often. You had that Balakot airstrike and subsequent air combat mission engagement in air combat. So this will continue. And end state, we are truly not looking forward to having a conflict or engage in a war. Main aim of the armed forces is that it should have the capability to deter the adversary. That means they will not get encouraged to start a conflict because they know the conflict will end in very serious damage to their armed forces, to their economy, and Pakistan will vanish most probably from the, to be an adversary to us. China will suffer tremendous amount of setback, and they'll go back by most probably 10, 20 years. And their aspiration to become the world #1 will also vanish. So it is the capability to deter, that you can hit me, you can give me 5 knocks as a boxer, but I'll give you 1 which will be knockout blow.
So, like in today's geopolitical situation, when the Western powers are like in a declining state, how do you see India as a emerging power in the world stage?
Everybody is accepting that India is rising rapidly, and especially so with the posture that India is taking on various international issues, be it Russian-Ukraine war, be it sanctions against various countries, again threats to India, in terms of that our human rights are not okay, or J&K and other issues. But I think that India is doing well in terms of tackling these issues, because these are all mindsets or the perceptions which existed in the Western society for too long, because they won the Second World War. They thought they will control the world's economy, the rules, be it WTO, be it IMF and World Bank. Everything is actually based on the conventions they have created. They think they are not wrong anywhere. In others, if they do the same thing, then they need to be punished, and war crimes should be slapped on those nations. But for their misdeeds, they are not to blame. So India is doing the right thing, that we take our stand. We are a big nation. Our economy is improving very rapidly. Our comprehensive national power is increasing. And if you don't stand up for our own good, our own interest, national interest, then I think we'll remain in the 19th century.
And we are actually in the very last segment of this interview or discussion. Before that, I would like to ask you, what was your best experience as the Air Chief Marshal and the worst experience as the Air Chief Marshal?
Let me cover the worst first, so that the good things, we'll finish with the good things. Towards the last quarter or last half of my tenure as the Air Chief, 3 years tenure, we lost an aircraft, AN-32, with 26 people on board, and with a lot of logistics in it, from Chennai, or I'll not say Chennai, Tambram is a base very close to Chennai Air Force Base. It was a ferry to take people as well as logistics across to Port Blair. In month of August, it was bad weather, but these missions, they take every day. But during this mission, halfway through their journey across in the Bay of Bengal, the aircraft went missing. And even today, after so many years, 16 it happened, and now it is 2023. So 7 years have gone, we have not been able to trace that aircraft. So 26 people on board remain unaccounted. We did everything to search this aircraft, seabed, water, surface, everything, but we just couldn't trace that aircraft. So it's a very unfortunate incident, I would say accident, because even if they are there somewhere, I don't think they have survived. So that was the biggest pain I suffered as the leader, and hopefully such incidents or accidents will not take place in the future. But in terms of what happened good, I think the Indian Air Force is doing well in terms of getting the capability. And we had to fight really very hard with the ministry officials, bureaucrats, finance ministry, etc. Because as far as my perception goes, that these people only think of a deal to get a weapon system in terms of monies. It's an economic activity, they call it. Commercial activity, I would say. Economic is different. But it is not so. It is strategic requirement, operational requirement, political goodwill, as well as your finance in terms of. So it is a combination of all. So it is not how much that equipment cost, but how much will you gain operationally in terms of capability, in terms of other strategically, diplomatically, your acceptances in the world body. So I think the equipment that you got, especially Rafale aircraft, then a lot of helicopters, heavy lift helicopters, attack helicopters, then C-17, C-130 transport aircraft. These I think the Air Force did well, and I feel very proud that we could managed to get these capabilities.
Lastly, sir, as we now have you as the Chancellor of our university, can we see any kind of symbiotic relationship between the university and the local Air Force base in creating leaders of tomorrow?
Not only Air Force base here, that is a small unit, but overall with the armed forces, I think the VC has already taken a very important step. Today the MOU was signed with the Kendriya Sainik Board rep of Assam, wherein the retired personnel who are highly qualified, but they haven't got the equivalence certificate of their qualification having served in the armed forces, their professional knowledge and achievements. So that equivalence certificate will be given after some kind of retraining, and they will get jobs in the government, especially state government. So I think that's a big step, and I'm sure these things will continue, and universities most probably will open a strategic studies department as well. Some of the universities have already started, and I'm sure, Assam University will be one of the front runners in this. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And I think with you as our Chancellor and our Vice Chancellor, sir, I think sky is the limit. And thank you so much, viewers, for watching this video. This is Hrijoy Das Kanungo, and you are watching AU TV. Thank you so much.